What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Swing for the Fences show. Talking some MLB. We got a good slate, 10 games. The hitting is there's a couple spots of hitting that I like. Some pitchers. One stands out, Garrett Cole, of course. And after that, it gets a little rough. So excited to hear what these two got to say about that. Very good weekend over at RPS. We'll get to the members never win segment and stuff later, but a lot of success, a lot of screenshots, which was very good to see. Hoop, I'll head over to you first. PGA was very good at Run Pier. Could have finished a little better, but man, there was a lot of screenshots, that's for sure. How was your weekend in multiple sports? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, I mean, the PGA Championship was obviously big for us. The content was just absolutely spot on. We nailed the weather edge. Other sites out there trying to pretend like there wasn't going to be a weather edge, and it was not the optimal route to fully stack the waves, which it was. I mean, it was a full two-stroke advantage. I just saw like 14 out of the 20 top DraftKings scoring players teed off in the morning. I mean, it was a massive advantage. You got people out here still trying to argue the game theory that it was a bad move. I mean, when someone like has literally a distinct playing advantage, it would be almost similar like in the NBA. If one team got to play with like a bigger basket, they're obviously going to score more points, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just common freaking sense. You guys got guys out here trying to deny it. So that was pretty annoying all weekend, but it paid off obviously for Run Pure and all the members and people that followed the content. I mean, all the content, all the written content reflected it. All the premium content reflected it. Me, Tambo, and Big T did the premium show Wednesday afternoon. And literally that's all we talked about was the weather advantage and literally having to go all in on it, which we did. Now, obviously, Justin Thomas was on the bad side of the draw and he won. So that hurt. And it hurt me in a big, big way. I typically don't look at where I'm at until then, but people are blowing me up and like, oh, good luck, finish it off. So after my son's baseball tournament, I pulled it up and I was winning $560,000 with like 6 holes to go. And guess what? I didn't win nearly that much. Had a really good week, close to 6 figures. So I'll take it and move on, but it could have been massive. But ran out terribly. I mean, I have no idea what Mito was doing. Like that shot was the strangest shot on 18 I've ever seen. I don't know what sort of shot he was going through. It's like some weird abbreviated finish at the end. And of course, the ball goes right in the water. And that sunk all hopes and literally sunk all hopes and dreams. No pun intended.
Did you hear the guys on 18, the tee box? Like, there must have been like people really close to him because there was like these drunk dudes like yelling at everyone to pull driver. It was like every time someone pulled driver, they were celebrating. Like if you were watching,
so maybe he fell victim to that.
These dudes were egging everyone on to pull driver. When JT pulled driver, the whole crowd that whole section, you could tell everyone was just wasted. They all cheered, so they probably got to Mito.
Yeah, I mean it was a brutal shot. I mean honestly, that was a terrible shot. I don't even know what like the follow through was all weird. And I mean it just looked awful. It looked like he was almost trying to play a draw, but then the ball hooked. I don't know the ins and outs of golf, but yeah, it ended up costing me like $500,000. So what can you do? You move on. We'll have our PGA content this week, but I will say the PGA content has been phenomenal. All the written stuff last week reflected AM advantage, playing the guys in the AM. All the video content reflected that. All the Discord conversations revolved around that. So if you followed it, I mean, you printed. So it was a good week overall. We're back to the grind this week with another solid event, actually very solid field this week to Charles Schwab. So on the PGA side, everything went well, could have gone better. But we got a full week here of MLB content, a full week, obviously, of NBA Showdown content. And then, like I said, the PGA stuff as well. I know you said UFC's on a break this week, though.
Yeah, but people in chat were talking, are congratulating you, Hoop, saying that you were up there on Sunday. Man, that is a tough break for sure. But everyone has tough breaks. What are you going to do about it?
There's no point to get down about it and sit and no one cares. I mean, they can sit and tell all the bad beat stories, but no one gives a shit about it. Like it affects you and that's it. So there's no need to continue to talk about it. We move on. We got an MLB slate today, which is pretty good. And like I said, the PGA kicks off Thursday with another good event. So we march on and continue to pick winners.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, PGA always has good prize pools, whether it's the worst tournament or the worst track out there, course out there, whatever it is, or the best one. There's always 100K plus up top. So I'm always in the streets, always have fun sweating it Thursday to Sunday. AP, what's going on with you? There's MLB. We have a new premium content coming out on the daily. Talk about that a little and what that's going to entail. You can talk about golf. You're always in the streets. NBA playoffs are getting fun. Showdown or I see like 41,000 for the big $20 showdown, where it was like 33,000 recently. So that's even getting bigger. What's going on in your world? Lots of money to be made tonight.
Yeah, switching over to, really focusing on MLB now with NBA kind of, not much going on in the NBA streets now, just Showdown, which, our team crushes. Rubio does a phenomenal job with the playbook. Big T, JSU on the Up to Lock show, even for those NBA slates too, just 1 game slates. And with that dwindling down, we're always looking to build out new content, add more value for the members. We're releasing a premium slate overview article, so it's going to be, and I don't want to speak for them yet, but it's going to be myself, JTAs, and most likely Glaucoma, and who are going to be producing this article on a daily basis, all the main slates. And it's going to be based on like what I'm doing. So on days I'm doing it, you get my takes. That's going to align with kind of my strategy for the evening. JTAs, same thing. Glock, same thing. So it's going to be a nice value add. You're going to be able to see where all of us are at. Use it in conjunction with the playbooks, with the core plays, with all the shows that we do. So expect that moving forward. I actually just posted the article for today for members only. Should be live on the site right now.
Awesome. Yeah. More content. We're always adding. I mean, you will see so many shows, so many articles, playbooks for every single sport that's offered. I went into the members never win segment yesterday night. And I'll start off with here. It was Hustle Manford. It was NHL win. Then Cameron, MLB win. Jay Burton, UFC win. Rye Guy, golf. Kenny Goodpeople, NASCAR. Kate Maximus, NBA. And then Fazura, F1. That is 7 different sports, 7 in a row with members never win screenshots. And that wasn't we'll get into more members never win there. But I was like, man, 7 different sports, 7 screenshots. And the NASCAR, you go in there. I was scrolling through a long time. Coop, Matty Ice, all them absolutely crushed NASCAR this week. Tons of screenshots. Great weekend in golf. Absolute big scores. Could have been bigger. MMA had a good week. A bunch of screenshots in there. MLB, NBA. You just don't see that at other sites very much. So we have experts at every single sport. I know tennis. Susie does a great job there. Spread does. They got some big contests coming up. I think it's the French Open. Do not quote me. I'm not big into tennis too much, but I saw Susie post a tweet, I think 10K up top or something like that in the golf or in the tennis street. So maybe I'll dive in there. That's very similar to MMA too. You wake up, you have a nice morning sweat. There's League of Legends, there's CSGO, all these sports. There's so much, and you can find that over at Rumpier Sports. We do still have the promo code PJ50. I don't think it's going to be up very long. So hey, we've had multiple screenshots and multiple sports, a lot of success. If you want to head over and be a member, there's no better time right now. It gets you 50% off your first payment, PGA 50 that is. And you definitely will not regret it. And to get in the Discord too, if you are a member, that's my favorite sport or part of it. We always talk about it. Knowledgeable members, coordinators talking all the sports all the time. So PGA 50 that is. We're going to talk some baseball though, but first we got to hit that like button. Gary's in chat saying 67 likes is hurtful. 308 watching, 80 likes. I didn't say it yet. I don't like begging too much, but do us a favor. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe button. We got Could Be Travis in chat, Nadesify, Tim, Uncle T, my boy. What's going on, Uncle T? Metal, Rolo, Steve Anthony, Mike, Michael Cox. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Going to be talking this 10-game slate for baseball. I'll start with the weather. It looks like the only game that really has some concerns is the Dodgers and the Nationals. I think it'll probably be fine if they start on time, which it's the Nationals again. So you never really know. That's the one team that has screwed up these weather situations a lot in the past. I'm hoping they just start on time, and I'm personally not going to be fading anything from it. Hoop, do you have a different outlook on weather today? That's the only game I really saw, but I'm going to play it as everything's good. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's improved. As of now, I am not planning to avoid that spot whatsoever. I pulled it up a couple hours ago, and it looked pretty good. to me. Let me pull it back up here.
It's the thing is, like, the Dodgers are one of the top offenses on the slate for sure. So that's why it's a big talking point.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
you can look at, you can
once
once
it starts, it is going to keep going, but it looks like now there's a chance that it gets pushed back further. So we'll keep everyone updated on it. But as of now, I'm moving forward with playing Dodgers.
Yeah, if anything changes, we'll update in Discord and say we're getting off as we always do. But yeah, if there's a delayed start, then I definitely get a little more concerned. If they start on time, I'm just going to roll it that it's pretty good. It's how I'm approaching it right now. But again, 2 hours before lock, and someone in chat asked, is DC back? He's been dealing with a back problem. No fun at all. DC is going to be on the up to lock shows today. So you get his takes on the weather, his pitching as well. I think he'll be standing during the shows to get a little different look from DC, but he is back. He will be breaking it all down on the premium show. You need to be a member for that. So excited to hear what he's got for the pitching and the weather takes. But let's get into pitching. Like I said, we have one clear pitcher who's going to by far be the most popular, and Garrett Cole up top. He gets us Baltimore team. I feel like the Yankees have played Baltimore like 12 times in the past 15 days or something. They are back in New York today, so better hitting park than in Camden right now. AP, I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to go Garrett Cole. You have to talk about him individually, of course. After that, I'll say Jose Berrios at 8.5K and above. What you like in the top range, but talk about Cole specifically first.
Yeah, so Cole is the guy, honestly, like even if you're a tournament player, where I'm considering just locking him in. The matchup is just very, very elite. 2.5 implied team total there. This is no secret, though. Everyone's going to know this. He's going to carry a lot of ownership. But with baseball, there's always ways to get different. So for me, the thought is, am I locking him in? And if I'm not, like, what is another combination out there that could make sense at all? And it's hard to come up with one. You could maybe go Wheeler and Alex Cobb. But if you're doing that, one, it should be in like a very large field tournament. And two, you should probably play a couple of these Orioles bats against Cole. So Cole has, historically been known to give up some home runs. So I would prefer like a 3-man stack if I was going that route. And I'd look at like targeting these power bats, Mountcastle, he's been a guy, Austin Hayes, another guy that you can look at, Cedric Mullins, but still, I'm leaning towards the side of locking Cole in. Full transparency. He looks good. His numbers are actually like even lower, like strikeout wise, relative to last year. So I think we're going to positively regress towards his mean, which means more strikeouts, more upsides, and a guy that we definitely want to be getting exposure to. So my lean here is locking him into all my builds, getting very overweight. The industry, we do this in golf sometimes. We talk about it when you get a tournament that like the John Rahm scenario. When we were at the Mexico Open, a lot of the sharp guys on our team, Hoop being one of them, just locked Rahm in. When you have Garrett Cole, who is far and above better than everyone else on the slate, the same discussion I think needs to come up. So Cole for me, probably a lock, depending on how many lineups I make, and I'm good with it. Going down the list here. So I think Zach Wheeler, he's looked good. He gets a high strikeout matchup against the Braves. However, there are a ton of dangerous bats in here. Something I talk about in my article. So if you remember, go over there and give that a look. But I do think Wheeler is going to be the popular SB2 option on the slate. I'm fine with it. I'll probably have some Cole Wheeler lineups, assuming you can make it work. And, Wheeler's look good. He's been a guy that has historically like let me down. I remember tilting him often, not in Discord, of course, but just, tilting, to myself. But he's looked good so far this season. I do worry about some of these bats, though, in this Braves lineup. Then Alex Cobb is the other guy I'm looking at. I don't like the matchup here, though. That's like my one concern with Cobb, but I do think he's someone that we need to look at and discuss playing on this slate. I'm not going to play Berrios, and probably not going to play anyone else in this range.
Yeah, if you look at it, Garrett Cole -7 or 7.5 strikeout prop with a good amount of juice on the over. Wheeler 6.5 with a little juice on the over. But after that, you got 5.5 with Luis Garcia, juice on the under, and then you see the 4.5. You see plenty of 3.5s. which just shows, I mean, Garrett Cole's in his own world right now. And then Wheeler, yeah, is SP2, like you mentioned. There's always enough cheap bats on a 10-game slate, especially. So if Wheeler gets you 22, Cole gets you 28, you might not need an explosion with bats on this slate. There's only a couple teams with an applied total sitting around 5, and then a lot of low ones. So I don't mind going to Cole, Wheeler, locking in your points there. Obviously, it's baseball. You're never locking anything in, but that's the hope, is playing the best 2 pitchers on the slate by far and doing that. Hoop, I'll throw it over to you. Garrett Cole, you're just going to hit that lock button and move on. I think it makes some sense because SP2 is weak, and then talk about Berrios at 8.5 and above.
Yeah, it's just a really bad price tag for Garrett Cole. I mean, they totally missed the boat here. I mean, definitely should have been like, upper 11s, 12K, and they got him sitting at 10.5. It's just takes the decision almost out of it. And it makes it even more obvious because we just don't have the other options. And the other guys in this range are like way too high, like just way too close to Garrett Cole. FanDuel did a little bit of a better job putting him at 11K, but it's just hard not to play Garrett Cole at 10.5. And, it's probably one of those situations where you do just hit the lock button because, where else are you going to go at pitcher? I mean, Wheeler's fine, but you can play both of them. I mean, they're both, relatively inexpensive. So, I mean, if you were going to make the case for somebody over Cole, I guess it would be Wheeler, but if you're going to play Wheeler, you probably just pair him with Cole and kind of move on. I don't think there's really a case to be made for anyone else in this range. I mean, if you're playing Cole, if you're locking him in or taking an overweight stance on Cole, it's just hard to even consider any of these guys up there. So, we talk about on the show, sometimes we have a more broad player pool up pitcher. Sometimes we like to keep it condensed. Today's a day where it's going to be very condensed because there's just not a lot of solid options to consider. So Cole 1, Wheeler 2, and then nobody else for me up here.
Yeah, all right. I'll go right back to you. Below Berrios, we had AP mention Alex Cobb. I think he's a little interesting. Marco Gonzalez, there's a big price difference on FanDuel than on DraftKings. 5.3K on DK, 8.2K on FanDuel. So I think he gets some ownership on DraftKings. Outside of that, I'm looking at it, man. It's like Jordan Lyles. I've heard people talking about Jordan Lyles. The Yankees might get some ownership. Are you going to go there, Hoop? What are you thinking below in the lower range?
Yeah, I mean, come down here and, we talked about in the top tier where there weren't many options. There's not many down here. And I agree, like Alex Cobb is the next guy that I have interest in, a home matchup in that nice ballpark for pitchers, fair price tag at 7.90, really good price on FanDuel sitting at like 7.2, where Cole is a little more expensive. There's a $4,000 difference between Cole and Cobb. So I like Cobb a lot over there at 7.2, but like him here at 7.9 as well. Good spot. So I'll be on him some. I think you make the case for Chris Archer at 7.4 just because of the matchup with the Tigers. I mean, the Tigers suck offensively, and it's a home matchup for Archer. He's actually a really big favorite. I mean, he's a minus over 200 favorite on the slate. So, can he go 5 innings, pick up the win and limit the damage? I think absolutely. Get us like 15 fantasy points or something. I'd be happy with that and kind of move on. And then the next guy is, just very obviously Gonzalez, who is 5.3K, super cheap, coming off 2 solid starts, and now gets this very good home matchup against the A's, just a bad offense. And again, he's favored in a big way, minus 170. That's very solid. So when you're playing a guy at 5.3K, I mean, really all you're looking for, similar to what I just said with Archer, but it's $2,000 cheaper. Like, can he go 5 or 6 innings? Can he pick up the win? Can he get a few strikeouts along the way? And the answer to that question is yes, which makes him way too cheap. And then I guess the last guy, if you really need to save, Zach Greinke is all the way down at 4.8K. Similar situation to Marco Gonzalez. Can he pick up 5 innings here, not get lit up and, put up 10 to 12 fantasy points? Yeah, you probably can do that. So if you're doing 150, I would have him in the player pool as well. I'm definitely prefer Gonzalez over Greinke because Greinke's strikeouts have just disappeared. I mean, they're just gone. But at 4.8K, it can do a lot for your lineup. But like I said, I definitely prefer Gonzalez over Greinke, but I think they're definitely 2 guys to keep in your player pool if you're doing 150 today.
And the ownership leverage you would get if you do pivot to Greinke in that range, he's definitely going to be a lot lower owned. So that makes sense. Gary and chat's talking Jordan Lyles. I saw a couple of people in Discord, I think, talking about him as well. AP, talk about the lower range. Go ahead. Hoop, you're about to
the
say
I was just gonna say the Lyles things to me is just like it's just a too cute type of play. I mean, you have a cheap guy there in Gonzalez who I think is just much better. You got Jordan Lyles going against Yankees, got to face Judge, who's just on a tear. I think it's a too cute type of play.
Yep, makes sense. AP,
yeah, they just saw him like last week too. So like definitely worrisome. And he had an incredible outing. So I'm off Lyles. And yeah, so my apologies for not listening to your ranges
You're good.
appropriately, because I already talked about Cobb, a guy I like outside of the range that title gave me. I'll do a better job of paying attention moving forward. Yeah, it goes downhill pretty fast here, but like Marco Gonzalez does seem like a guy that's going to get some ownership. And usually, like with pitching, I'm okay with eating some chalk. We can always get different with the stacks that we make in baseball. So there's certain circumstances where I don't mind eating some chalk, and Gonzalez is one of those situations. So it's more for me a bet on an easy matchup against the A's here. Ton of strikeouts in this lineup. Not a lot of power. I think Gonzalez, he's coming off 2 fine outings against at the Mets and then the Blue Jays. So, I mean, he lasted 6 innings in both. He didn't give up a home run in either one. But, man, the numbers, like just the stats, the numbers that I look at are a little worrisome. So I'm not locking him in. Most likely there's a good chance he ends up on my main team tonight. Because then it's like the other thing I always ask myself, if I'm not playing the guy and he's popular and he's good on paper or whatever, I should consider in some way stacking against him. And whenever I go and try to make that case with the A's here, it's just very difficult to do. I just don't respect the bats in this lineup. And I mean, it's kind of crazy. They're cheap. They're very, very cheap though, but salary is not something that's concerning for me on this slate. So Marco Gonzalez, most likely my cheap SB2. Zach Greinke, I'm definitely not going there. This dude is terrible. I think, and we're going to talk about this when we get to stacks and the hitting. I think the way you go about it is stacking against him. Hopefully Greinke gets some ownership. The guy has he can't strike anyone out. And I'm the Royals guy. I've watched this guy. He's absolute dust. There's a much better chance of the D-backs here just absolutely lighting them up and winning someone a tournament, because it doesn't look like they're going to get a lot of ownership tonight. So definitely no Zach Greinke for me. The price tag is definitely it tries to suck you in, 4.8K. But as you go and build your lineups, you'll realize that it's not hard to get these top stacks in with Garrett Cole in there because of him being underpriced. 10.5 is just too cheap on a slate like this for Garrett Cole.
Yeah, there's some cheap hitters that we'll get to throughout that you can make pairing the top 2 definitely viable as well. Looking at chat quick, Michael Cox, ESPN says Plesac starting. DK says McKenzie. I see McKenzie, so that's what I'm seeing. Tristan McKenzie on the mound. We're gonna go with that. Hoop says yes as well.
McKenzie, yeah.
Yep, McKenzie. We got someone in chat. Is Nick Martinez sneaky or silly? I'm gonna say silly. I would not play Nick Martinez today. I don't think he's very good either. So yeah, those are a couple questions regarding pitching. Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that subscribe. 430 watching, 155 likes. Do us a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'll put out a number in maybe 10 minutes or something, but we appreciate it. We want to give you the plays of the day. We don't want to keep them from you. Just be generous. Hit that like for us. Let's go top 3 pitchers, not including Cole. Hoop, I'll start with you.
Ooh. Not including Cole, it's pretty difficult. It's going.
If you only got 2,
no,
you're only gonna play 2. You can say 2.
I got 3. Marco Gonzalez. I mean, it's just a price thing and what he can do for the rest of your lineup. I do think that pairing is going to be pretty popular, though. Cole and Gonzalez, but I'm fine with that. It would be him, and then Wheeler, and then our boy Alex Cobb. 1, 2, 3.
Like it. AP, same question to you.
Yeah, that combination of Gonzalez Cole is going to be popular because it leaves you almost 4,300 per bat left and allows you to get all the top stacks. So we'll talk about how to get different, because if you do make that pairing, you got to get different in some way. But that is going to be one that I'm highly considering and looking at. Wheeler would be the next guy, and then it would be Alex Cobb that I'm looking at.
Well, I like it. So that is pitching on a 10-game slate. One of the worst pitching slates we'll probably have with this many games outside of Cole. But everyone's in the same boat as always. So if you have conviction, like I said, Nick Martinez, my opinion was silly. If you have conviction on Nick Martinez on this slate, there's the slate to play him, I think, because there's so many bad pitchers that can blow up in you. I mean, we're talking Marco Gonzalez is going to have some ownership and be pretty chalky. That's a slate we're looking at. So if you like a Nick Martinez, if you like a Tristan McKenzie, you name it, you have conviction on it. Jordan Lyles, play some. I mean, it's not hard to get overweight, and I would not fault you for being overweight on a pitcher you like on a slate like this, even if we did not talk about it. Before we get to we're going to go game by game like we always do in this. We're going to get to stacks, then plays of the day. But first, I want to shout out Uncle T. He's got on the playbook today. The playbook is up already, so go see what Uncle T's got to offer. Go check AP's article and just more content for baseball from different minds. So check that out. Do want to get into the Members Never Win segment from over the weekend too, because it was a very good weekend. We got no NHOWITT, no Hawitz, I believe, won $3,000 in MMA off of like $36, had the stone nuts. It looked like one lineup. Congrats to you. Mac 2 Services, $10,000 in MLB. Rye Guy, $10,000 in PGA. TMR6, Tyler Robertson's always around, $27,000 in NBA and NHL. Congrats to you. I got myself an MMA ticket. Tambo absolutely crossed the round 2 showdown, 125 big ones, first and second place. He was on the Mayo Media Network show. Again, all this content we're talking about, we have showdown shows for all of the rounds. Showdown round 2, talked about the weather edge, absolutely took home all the cheese. So big time. Congrats to you, Tambo. The Woke Show, 50,000 in PGA. He keeps crushing. And then TYA 558 won $1 million in PGA. Congrats to you. 1 million big ones. Awesome stuff. That is great. Like I said, I went into the Members Never Win segment, and there were so many sports, so many different people. Scroll through NASCAR, scroll through MMA, scroll through golf, NBA, you name it, all these channels. It was a very, very good weekend over RPS. So congrats to everyone. The grind continues. Don't get too highs on your high, too lows on your low. And a lot of money to be made today in MLB and NBA. So congrats to the winners, but that's enough of that. Hit that like for us. Hit that subscribe for us. We appreciate it. I'll set a number pretty soon. Let's get into bats, though, game by game, starting with the first game of the night. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the Washington Nationals, Tyler Anderson, and Yoan Adon on the mound. I probably pronounced that name wrong. He doesn't deserve his name pronounced right because he is the worst pitcher on this slate. I hope this game plays. I hope it's not delayed. The Dodgers are in a very good spot. They're on the road, guaranteed ninth inning at bat. This dude absolutely stinks, it looks like. Hoop, I'll throw it over to you. How are you going to attack the Dodgers and any Nationals for you?
Yeah, I mean, dream spot here for my Dodgers to kind of go off against this guy. I mean, he absolutely sucks. And, the only thing holding it back is the weather. But, I think it looks okay. I mean, I'm optimistic. I mean, it does sound like if they start in a delay, it is trouble because there is rain coming later. So that's one thing to look for. If this game is announced as a late start, could be screwed. And the next issue with this whole thing is it's the Nationals at home, and we've dealt with this time and time again, so that kind of complicates things a little bit. My hope is there's some uncertainty and the game still plays and we get Dodgers at lower ownership, which I think is very realistic. This Dodgers lineup, just a great lineup here tonight. And you got Rios batting fourth. He's 2.7 on DK. He's 2.3 on FanDuel. Probably the most popular play on the slate. All that does is lower the ownership on a guy like Freddie Freeman. I think Freeman is a phenomenal tournament option tonight. Without Rios in that lineup, Freeman is probably one of the highest owned guys, but you can only play one. People are going to play the cheaper one on DraftKings. Freeman in a really good spot. Dodgers lineup is just it's a fun team to stack because you can play everyone. I mean, you can literally play 1 through 9 with confidence. There's not a weak spot in this lineup. So great team here. and their ownership probably depends on like what sort of weather news kind of comes out. So we'll have to see on that. And then with the Nationals, not really interested all that much. The only guy I think I will have is Lane Thomas. He's 2.7K leading off. And then I believe on FanDuel, he is the minimum price or like 2.1K. So very, very cheap option where, 2.1K on FanDuel. So a full punt essentially on FanDuel. It's the only guy I'll play on the national side.
Yeah, I like it. And I love the point you make with the Dodgers. Like Gavin Lux, my boy's hitting in the 9-hole. I probably play him more than most other Dodgers in tournaments, which just shows you can play you can stack this order up any type of way. You can always find a way to get different. And a good point with that, Rios in the 4-hole, 2.7K, Freddie Freeman, 5.4. Can't play two first basemen on DK. So good point there. I think both get some ownership, but it's going to be spread out a little bit. AP, Nationals, Dodgers, what you like in this game?
Yeah, it does seem like, the chalk build path will be Cole, the cheap SB2, Gonzalez that we talked about, Rios, and then Turner, Betts, Will Smith, and then one other. So like what I would say is find a way to get different. I think Hoop highlighted it really well. Rios, he's been phenomenal in his last, I mean, he's just been phenomenal since we've seen him, to be honest. But Freddie Freeman right there. I like that you have to play one or the other. You can't play both over on DraftKings. So both first basemen eligible. So playing Freeman's going to get you a little different for sure. The one guy that I used to love him, but Max Muncy, the only guy that's just like, man, he's been hurtful. He's probably the guy I'll be off, which means that he'll probably hit a home run, kind of how it goes with baseball for me. But Muncy's been the guy that's just been kind of a disaster in this lineup. Outside of that, everyone has been so strong. You can stack this up any way you want. My last note is I hope the weather becomes I hope we get like a yellow orange or, however you look at it, weather wise, maybe scare some people off of this stack. That's the only way we're going to get it lower owned. If it's all clear and the weather is all good, it's going to be very, very popular because the spot is just that good. 5.5 team implied total. Really strong matchup against this Nationals pitcher. These guys should get to work. It should be a very safe stack with a very high floor. So keep an eye on the weather though. As long as it's not too bad, even a delay could be good for ownership because people will get concerned too. Just understand the risk with it as well. But this is clearly a top stack on the slate.
Absolutely. Before we get to the next game, I want to shout out Tim Allenwood. He said, I won a grand because of Coop on NASCAR. NASCAR absolutely crushed. Coop and them do the show on Sundays, keg on it. Matty Ice is in the streets, still doing NHL playoffs as well. So NASCAR team crush. Congrats to you, Tim Allenwood. We got 460 watching, 203 likes. 260 is the number. I think 260 should be pretty easy. 10 games on this Monday. We only broke down one so far. So 57 more likes now. We're going to get the plays of the day. We appreciate it. Next game on the slate, Baltimore Orioles, New York Yankees. The Yankees have one of the biggest implied totals on the slate as well. Jordan Lyles taking on Garrett Cole. AP, I'll go back to you. I assume no Baltimore for you. Talk about the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees are always a stack that I have interest in. Won me some money already. Just so much power in this lineup. I will say one thing, because there are other stacks I like on the slate. Sometimes when you get your ace on the mound, it's tough for run production to get run production out of these guys because it's like they're like, yeah, we got Cole on the mound today. He's going to get it done for us, and it just seems like sometimes the bats aren't getting it done. However, Stanton, Judge, Rizzo, 1, 2, 3 right there, just such a strong opening punch. The bottom of this lineup is a little worrisome too. And if Lyles gets through Rizzo, Judge, and Stanton, and then if he, assuming he does that, then he gets through the bottom of this lineup, he could pick up a rhythm, get it going, and it would be worrisome if you're stacking this Yankees side up. So that would be my one concern there. But the top of the order, I'm definitely fine with 1 through 4. They also just saw Lyles, I think it was last week too. So another spot. They recently saw the pitcher. They should know what he's going to bring, and you got to like him here. On the other side, so I do want to emphasize one thing. So when I was writing my article, I always try to, as I said earlier in the show, when we get a chalk pitching situation, I try to just think, what's the contrarian take here? What's the other side of this argument? And if you're not playing Cole, and so I'm saying like in the large field tournaments, if you're not playing him, I think you have to play bats against him, because what's the scenario where Cole is an optimal in a lineup? It means they got to him. And so if you're not playing Cole, I definitely recommend like a little 3-man stack focusing on the power bats. Mooncastle, a guy I love to target there, really cheap on DraftKings. Cedric Mullins has just been phenomenal as well. And then you could play their catcher. This dude is like, man, I don't even follow a lot of Orioles people on Twitter, but it was like, this guy is like the second coming. I mean, I was seeing it all weekend long. And then he produced too. He got it done. Opening game, got himself a nice triple, put up a nice score there for him fantasy-wise. So what I'm saying is, if you aren't playing Cole, I think you make a rule that you have a couple Orioles bats in there. Otherwise, I don't know why you're fading them. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, definitely makes a good point there. Yeah, Adley's still sitting there, min price at 2K. And yeah, I mean, I've heard about him for a little while, but you hear it when he made his debut, everyone was talking about him. The second coming, that made me laugh. But that's what people were talking about, and it makes me laugh. But yeah, 2K, good hitter. You can play the middle of the order. You can play anyone on the Orioles. They're going to be 2% owned. So if you're not playing Cole, I think it makes sense. They also, for the Yankees, they got Estevan Florial hitting in the 7th hole. He's min price at 2K. Aaron Hicks is 3K. Trevino at catcher 2.8. Marwin Gonzalez at 2.4. So the top of the order for the Yankees expensive. The bottom of the order is cheap though. Hoop, how are you handling the Yankees today? I assume no Orioles.
Yeah, definitely not going to be playing any Orioles bats tonight. I mean, it's just I you know what? I'll take that back. I would play the catcher as a full punt. 2K flat. I think he's an option. Catcher is very weak. I mean, you look at the catcher position, not many options there. If you're going to spend, Will Smith is the guy, but he's, relatively expensive, 5.3K. And we got to, double check the weather on that game. But outside of that, like there's no catcher. So I would play that guy at 2K flat. What is it? Russ? I don't even know. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. On the Yankees side, though, a lot of interest. I will say, I mean, they did roll out their B lineup tonight, and they don't have so Donaldson's not in there, LeMahieu's not in there, Gallo's not in there. Rizzo, Judge, Stanton up top is fine. Torres doesn't really have a great price tag. I mean, 4.8K, you're still paying a pretty big premium for him. These secondary guys are much cheaper on FanDuel, like Torres, Connor Falefa, Aaron Hicks is like 2.5K. So they're all way cheaper on FanDuel. Estevan Florio, though, 2K flat, I think is a very strong option on DK. I will have some exposure to him batting 7th in this lineup. Just opens things up, maybe gets you off of a guy like Marcos Gonzalez, gets you the ability to play Cole with Wheeler, one or two of these full punts. So I do like him at 2K flat. I'll have some Yankees. I mean, I will definitely have some Yankees. They rolled out this lineup. The game total didn't move at all. The Yankees are still projected to score 5 runs. I don't think Jordan Lyles is a very good pitcher. I expect the Yankees to do some damage tonight. So I'll be on this team. I will play almost everyone in this lineup. I mean, Marwin Gonzalez, I guess, is a tough sell batting 9th, but he's only 2.4K. So a lot of different ways to go here. Definitely like the guys up top. And then, my next highest guy will be Estevan Florio, 2K flat.
DFS Wolfpack made a good comment in chat too, which helps the Yankees case. He said Baltimore bullpen is taxed if they get through Lyles. So yeah, if they beat up Lyles early and their bullpen's taxed, you love to see that in Yankee Stadium too. It's not in Camden Yards. There's definitely upside there. And yeah, it looks like the Dodgers are going to be a little more owned right now. Again, the weather situation definitely could change some things. We'll be in Discord breaking that down. The Up to Lock show, we'll talk about the weather in Washington. But yeah, I think the Yankees make some sense. Maybe the B minus C lineup will keep the ownership down a little bit. Let's get into the next game on the slate. It is the Atlanta Braves taking on Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler and Tucker Davidson on the mound. We don't have Gary on the show, so I'm not sure either of you will make a case for the Braves against Wheeler. As far as the Phillies, I think they're a little interesting on this slate. I don't think Davidson's very good. The Phillies implied totals came up a little bit, sitting at about 4.5 right now. On the road, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Hoop, I'll go back to you. Talk about the Phillies. It is against a lefty. You do usually like the Bryce Harpers of the world. Bryce Harper, the Schwarbers of the world. When you are playing the Phillies, they are against a lefty though. So how are you approaching this?
Yeah, definitely a team that's more stackable against right-handed pitching opposed to left-handed pitching. I mean, like you said, you like Harper when he's facing a righty. You like Schwarber as well when he's facing a righty and not a lefty. So it makes it tougher to stack, maybe more of like a three-man stack here. And the price tags are up there too. Like Harper at 6.3K, that's a big boy price tag. Gene Segura batting fifth at 5.2K. So yeah, I mean, I like the Phillies tonight. I don't necessarily love the price tags in this lineup. So they'll be more of like filler type plays, 3-man stacks, 2-man stacks. Alec Boehm at 3.9K, I think is a fine option. Castellanos has a nice price tag at 4.2. Those would probably be my two favorites. Hoskins, again, I think he probably gets pretty low ownership here because of Rios and the fact that he is only first base eligible. And I think he's going to be very highly owned tonight. Rios, that is at 2.7K. So a guy like Hoskins could go a little under owned. So yeah, like Hoskins, Boehm, Castellanos. I like that little 3-man stack. I could potentially play some of these cheapies at the bottom, Camargo or Quinn if I needed to, maybe do a Cole, Wheeler, Yankees, Philly stack, get both pitchers, both offenses, because you can now do that on FanDuel or on DraftKings. On FanDuel, you can't. You have to have 3 different teams, but on DK, it'll let you stack that way. So I think that's an interesting way to go about it. But yeah, not super excited. And then the Braves, I'm not making the case for the Braves. I mean, Wheeler is a solid pitcher. If you are going to go there, maybe some one-offs, but man, they have some big boy price tags. I mean, you're not getting a price break for them facing Wheeler. I mean, Acuna is 6'1". William Contreras is 5'2". Travis d'Arnaud 5'5". Matt Olson 5K. Albies 5'1". Riley 5'1". You're paying a steep price tag for the Braves tonight. So yeah, now that I read off those price tags, I don't even think there's really a case to be made for them.
Yep, definitely makes sense. AP, go to you. Talk if you have any interest with the Braves. Then talk about the Phillies. If you stack them, would it just be a 3-man stack? Would you add in Harper, Schwarber, hope they get Davidson out early, and then they can see plenty of righties? Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'll make a case for the Braves for our boy Gary. I always like these spots when you get a team that has a lot of good hitters there. We saw a recent one was the Astros when they went off against Eovaldi, absolutely destroyed them at like no ownership. They were like 2 to 3% owned. I mean, it was insane. So like, I'm not saying like Wheeler is a much better pitcher than Eovaldi. I'm not making the case there. What I'm saying is Wheeler has historically been a guy that's tilted us. I can just imagine being in Discord later tonight, everyone tilting, the Cole Wheeler lineups. You know what? Go ahead. If you're multi-entering, stack against him. Try it if you want to in tournaments. So now, to be honest, it's very, very risky, but I will say like Acuna Jr., William Contreras has been incredible. Ozuna is starting to pick up. I mean, this lineup is dangerous. Loaded with a ton of power.
They have studs, so it makes
and
it
Wheeler
like
is go ahead, Title. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, like, you want to stack a lineup against a pitcher will be somewhat owned, that at least you look at it. Austin Riley, Ozzy Albies in the 6 hole, Duvall's even in the 8 hole who has power. Ronald Acuna, Ozuna, like those guys are studs. They're World Series champions. Like those are the lineups that you'd rather play at low ownership against a good pitcher that they can still do some damage. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. The other thing comes down to how, like, what's the size? What's the field size of the tournament you're playing? Are you playing cash games? Are you playing 100-man? You're not going to play this in 100-man. Are you playing the $15 with 60K entries in it? Yeah, you can make the case that this is a team that could win you a tournament. Now, is it going to bust more often than not? For sure, it is. What I'm saying is that you can get a ton of leverage. So, like, here's the other thing too. It all comes down to the Gonzalez Cole pairing I was talking about. It's going to be popular. Everyone's going to go Dodgers. We get that. The Braves would classify as a team that with similar power to the Dodgers in a much worse spot, though, that could win you a tournament if the Dodgers somehow failed. So those are the things that I think about. I'm not saying I'm playing the Braves. I'm just saying it depends on what your goal is tonight, your risk tolerance, and if you think that Wheeler can let people down tonight. He's been good. He's only given up 2 home runs on the season. So, and then, if they get into the bullpen, I don't think it's going to be that much easier. So again, very, very, very tough spot for the Braves. But if you're multi-entering and if you don't mind getting, risky, I think just, going top down, this is one of the stronger lineups that we're going to see on the slate tonight in this tough matchup. And then, Bryce Harper, the price is just ridiculous, but the guy is incredible. Tucker Davidson, not anyone we're afraid of. So you can definitely make the case to play some Philly bets here too. So I do got to back it up and say there are other better spots that I like tonight that are contrarian stacks. I'm just saying with the Braves, looking top to bottom, that lineup does look tasty. Just I wish they weren't facing Zach Wheeler tonight.
And they're priced up like they're facing a bum, so it's just going to keep their ownership even lower. Definitely makes sense. Going to get to the next game. We got about 500 watching, 225 likes, 260 is the number. We still got a good amount of games to talk about. You guys should easily get there, but want to remind you, we want to get you the plays of the day. Hit that like, hit that big red subscribe right to the bottom right of the like button. Always appreciate it. Next game on the slate, the Detroit Tigers, the Minnesota Twins, Elvin Rodriguez taking on Chris Archer. I've seen some Twins talk in Discord in this chat as well. They have a pretty good total sitting at 4.8. Byron Buxton, the dude is a complete stud. You can play him every single day. There is a pitcher's ump in Minnesota, which people were also talking about in YouTube chat. It's worth noting. AP, I'll go back to you. Any case for the Tigers you can make? I don't think Chris Archer is good. The problem is the Tigers, like Hoop said earlier, suck. Their applied total isn't very good. So could you talk me into any Tigers and talk about the Twins?
No, I'm right there in the same boat with Hoopster though. And we're not actually like fans of these teams, but I'm talking about the Royals for me, but it's more of a bit than anything else. But man, Detroit's just bad. I don't like Chris Archer, but I don't like the Detroit side of this game either. Pitcher's ump and cooler weather, 60 degrees, wind gently blowing in. Not the best of environments, but the Minnesota side, this is one of those stacks that I think you can go to. Buxton, anytime Buxton's in the lineup, I think it just enhances this team tenfold. The guy's incredible, and I feel like everyone else hits better as well. So anytime Buxton's in there, I'm always interested in a twin stack. You can stack this up many different ways too. You can go 8, 9, 1, 2, 3 if you want to. You go 1 through 5. All of those guys for me are going to be in play against this Detroit guy that I don't know about you guys, but I think he's making his debut tonight. I don't know a lot about him, but tough spot here against the Twins.
Yeah, I do not think the guy in Detroit's any good either. Man, can you talk me into picking on Chris Archer a little bit with Detroit? Or are they just that bad? And talk about the Twins.
Yeah, you just look at the lineup and it's tough to pick out bats that you want to play. I just don't see like full stack possibilities.
I guess the bullpen scares me off a little too. I know DC talks about the Twins bullpen and Archer doesn't go too deep in the game. So I'm going to say that's my reason to avoid him.
Yeah, where's the upside in the Tigers lineup? Like Javier Baez, you can make the case for him, but like outside of that, this Torkelson guy, G. Risen's been beating off to Torkelson for like 2 seasons. That's all I've heard about is Torkelson. He comes up here, he's hitting like 120 or something crazy, I believe. It's just awful. They signed some pitchers this season. What is Torkelson hitting? I know G. Risen has like thousands of this guy's baseball cards. Yeah, he's hitting 173. So he's been a bust. There's just nothing. Even if you want to play him, like where do you start? So I guess that's kind of the point. Twins, definitely interested in the Twins. You have to imagine Elvin Rodriguez is not very good, but this Twins lineup, once it gets to the bottom, I don't have much interest. Definitely, Buxton, Araz, Correa. I don't think I've played him this season. I don't think he's had a hit for me. He's been, I think, pretty bad for the most part, but like Polanco, Kepler, I guess I could play Nick Gordon. He's 2K. 2K flat again goes a long way. So, the 1 through 6, I think are in play for me here. I do like the Twins. I'm not worried about the pitchers. Some people buy into that stuff, some don't. Like I don't really put much stock into it.
Yeah, I don't think Elvin Rodriguez, it doesn't look like he's like a big prospect or he's going to be too good in the MLB. I'm not too worried about picking on him. And like you said, anytime Bucks is in the lineup, this lineup is so much different. So I think the Twins are interesting for sure. And like you said, like Nick Gordon, min price, the 6-hole 2K. Kepler's there in the 5-hole 3-4. Trevor Larnach 2.3K in the 7-hole, or your Shell at third base 3-1. Jeffers 3-3 in the 9-hole at catcher. You can stack them a lot of different ways, and the prices are pretty good. So if you even go Wheeler and Cole. You can 5-man this Minnesota team, even with Buxton in there, and make it work. So yeah, I think the Twins are interesting. You can get very unique, and the positions are good for stacking is how I see it. Next game on the slate, Toronto Blue Jays, St. Louis Cardinals, two decent pitchers on the mound, Jose Barrios, Miles Mikolas. That's K-Falix boy. Any interest here, Hoopa, in either of these two teams? I think they're both going to be low owned. I could see more of a pitcher's duel, just a cross off for me. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I can just remember going back to doing shows with BigT years ago, and we'd always come to like games in this stadium, and we just say, you just don't play bats here. And I mean, I seriously don't. There's not many occasions where I'll go ahead and play Cardinals bats or their opponent when they're in this stadium. It just doesn't let up a lot of runs, and I don't know. It's just something I've stuck with for a while. I mean, it has to be a very appealing standout spot for me to play bats in the stadium. So again, two, I think, good enough pitchers to limit the damage. Low total, 7.5. I have no interest here.
I will say Nolan Gorman, min price, second base on the Cardinals, hitting in the 2-hole as well. That's the one guy that I think you can
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, at 2K, yes, definitely in play.
At second base. So yeah, if you're 5-2 wanting, he's your one off, you're paying up for pitcher, like you mid price 2K in the 2-hole, fine with me. I don't care who you are. AP, talk about this game.
Yeah, really tough spot. I mean, the other thing too, to add into what you guys said, is the Cardinals, they've been on the road for quite some time too, and they hit well on that their most recent road trip they were on. So like when you're looking at their short-term metrics, they look really good. Which at first glance, I was like, oh yeah, maybe we can stack up the Cardinals, but I hate this park. Cool weathers too. Winds gently blowing in, 65 degrees there. It's going to be, Barrios coming off a good outing finally. I mean, his numbers on the season haven't looked good, but you got to figure he's going to carry some momentum into this matchup. Tough matchup though against the Cardinals, which it's kind of like, I'm not like too high on either pitcher here, but I could turn around and look at one of these guys too, just if I want to get off some of these, the Wheeler types that we talked about. Maybe that path is here, relying on cooler weathers and a big ballpark in St. Louis, because I don't really like the bats in the spot either.
Yep, that's 3 for 3, and I do have to acknowledge K-Falix chat or comment in chat, because I said he was K-Falix boy. K-Falix said false. Sorry for saying the pitching was garbage that day, and he was the best pitcher on the slate. So Mikolas is not K-Falix boy. I do have to make sure that his voice is heard. Sorry about that, K-Falix. Next game on the slate. First, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. 505 watching, 238 likes, 22 more likes for the plays of the day. Got like 5 games left, so you guys are going to get it, I know. Cleveland Guardians and the Houston Astros. Still feels weird saying the Guardians. Tristan McKenzie, Luis Garcia on the mound. The Astros have a pretty good implied total, sitting at about 5, one of the highest on the slate. AP, I'm going to go to you. Any Astros or Guardians love for you?
Yeah, I love the Astros here. I've just been playing them, and they're hitting the ball really well right now. Tristan McKenzie, while I respect, his skill set, the one thing that he does is he gives up a lot of, he throws a lot of strikes, throws it hard, gives up hard contact and fly balls. Now his control has gotten better, but I don't see how you can't like the Houston Astros bats here. And I think they go a little bit overlooked with the Yankees, with the Dodgers, and other, even the Twins projecting to be a little bit more popular. So sign me up for the Astros. Got on them against Eovaldi. If they got to Eovaldi, I definitely think that they can easily get to Tristan McKenzie here. And McKenzie's coming off an outing. I think he gave up two bombs last week against the Twins, Buxton and someone else. I can't remember who. So the other thing too that I wanted to note, he gives up hard contact to both sides of the plate. So Altuve, Bregman, Jordan, our boy Kyle Tucker, all of these guys are in play. Full 5-man stack. This is one of my favorite stacks on the slate tonight.
Yeah, I like it for sure. I'm trying to talk myself into one of these low-owned stacks who no one's going to play. So I was looking at Detroit. I ended up getting off them. Cleveland's a team that's sticking out to me a little bit. Again, they're on the road, so they're guaranteed the ninth inning at bat, which I like. And they got some bats there. Franmil Reyes is only 2.8K. Josh Naylor's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. He's 3.3K, first and outfield eligible. I got Jose Ramirez. He's probably my favorite player to roster in DFS. His power speed combination. Hoop, can I get on a little Guardians as a very low owned contrarian stack and then talk about the Astros?
Yeah, man, I don't hate playing Cleveland here. I refuse to call them the Guardians. That's just the dumbest name. I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, it's just an awful name. How do you choose the Guardians? Go Indians or Cleveland. I'm not calling them the Guardians. Refuse to do it. I don't hate it. I mean, Garcia is not like one of these lockdown, shutdown type pitchers. He's has ability to give up some stuff, and it looks like he has been walking a lot of batters. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, his last 2 starts, he's only gone 5 and 4 innings, 5 hits in both those starts, 3 walks, 2 walks.
It'll be 1%, decent prices.
Yeah.
You can stack them easily. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe you're onto something there. You got a big bat there with Jose Ramirez. So yeah, I don't hate the Cleveland call. Definitely like Cleveland way more than Tigers. I mean, it's definitely a lot easier to play Cleveland than Detroit. And then the Houston side, yeah, really good play tonight. I mean, they're in a phenomenal spot here, a lineup again that you can play everyone. Yeah, you can play everyone. I think, yeah, definitely can play all the bats in this lineup. I mean, I don't love playing Brantley. I don't love playing Gurriel. Those are the guys I usually leave off my stacks, but I think everyone else is firmly in play here tonight. Good team total for them sitting at 5. Yordan Alvarez is a stud. Kyle Tucker batting 6 should keep his ownership down like it typically does. So yeah, really good team here.
Yep. And we'll say it last time it worked out. If you're playing the Astros, I'm always going to play Jeremy Pena in my stacks. Dude's a good hitter at the end of the day. He's at the bottom of the lineup. He gets overlooked a lot, but he's always in my Astro stacks if I play them. So just got to say that. Oakland Athletics, Seattle Mariners, the next game on the slate. Zach Logie taking on Marco Gonzalez on the mound. I mean, Marco Gonzalez is going to be popular. Again, we don't think he's a really good pitcher. I think his strikeout props like 4.5 with juice on the under. Anytime it's a price point play. It's pitching's awful. There's Garrett Cole. There's some bats you want to play. So Marco Gonzalez, look at his FanDuel, his DK price. It's just a misprice on DK. I wish it wasn't Oakland. It's a good pitching ballpark. I'm probably not going to get to Oakland myself, but it makes sense from game theory for sure. I think Cleveland's going to be my low owned stack if I'm going that way. Hoop, I'll go back to you. Any interest in bats in this game?
So I do have interest in the Mariners a little bit. I think they will go overlooked. And they have a lineup that can do some damage, specifically with Ty France. I like Suarez as well.
Got to be Julio Rodriguez too, DC's boy.
Julio Rodriguez, yeah. So you got a nice little stack there. I will have, if you're doing 20 teams, I think you play a couple Seattle, you're way over the field. There is upside in this lineup. We're on Marcos Gonzalez. Yeah, sometimes you want to try to pick on the cheap chalk pitcher, but man, it is just so hard to sell yourself on these Oakland bats. It's just hard.
That's got to be the worst lineup in baseball.
It's just so
that
bad.
Has to be.
Yeah, just so bad. I mean, you look. I guess if you're looking for something cheap, I mean, this is the spot to go. But man, I just can't. I can't sell myself on it. So I do like the Mariners a little bit as probably pretty low owned. Actually, yeah, it will be a very low owned stack. So yeah, give me some Mariners. No A's though.
Yeah, it's bad when I guess we don't have the lineup out yet, but for the 9 projected. Hitters are 2K flat. The highest is 3.2K. That's tough. I will say for Seattle too, if you're stacking them, we always talk about the catcher position. Cal Raleigh is in the 9 hole. He's min price at 2K. And yeah, he was in the majors last year. He was hitting the 5 hole for a little bit too. So I don't mind him if you want to wrap around that stack, get out a catcher at a very cheap price. So I think that makes some sense. AP, what you got? Oakland and Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. Pitchers Park. I mean, if you want to stack up Oakland, I mean, sure. I don't know. I don't know where you even start to begin with. The lineup's just so bad. Have they won anyone a tournament all year long? Like, I think
Steve was saying day baseball. Like last week they did something. I know daytime A's has been a thing.
Daytime A's.
I don't even know if they even won them a tournament, but they did something. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, then, I mean, a couple of these Mariner bats, I mean, are okay, but I'm full stacking some of these power spots tonight. So it's not going to bring me probably onto anyone in this game unless I need like a one-off or, a three-man stack or something like that. But definitely a spot that I'm going to be off. And I hope that, Gonzalez is going to do his thing and get us a respectable score and move on with it.
Yep, I like it for sure. A couple of people in chat were saying Dylan Moore for Seattle too. Someone said a stolen base he'll get. He's in the 7th hole. Shortstops week 2. Yeah, I don't mind it either. So want to shout out that.
Who's Stevie Boynton's boy? Is it the Julio Rodriguez? Ty France. Okay,
DC's is Julio Rodriguez. Steve Boynton's Ty France.
Okay, so that would be my 3-man stack. Those guys right there, just for our boys.
Yep, I like it. Yeah, I think that's a good call, Hoop. I think Seattle is a little interesting in this game, and if you play him with Marco Gonzalez, you can hope you get that win. You hope Seattle puts up some runs. Marco Gonzalez pitches fine. You get that win and you get a little correlation there. So I like that for sure. Let's get into the next game on the slate. We got 3 games left. You guys are about at the likes. I know you guys are going to get it for us. Kansas City Royals, Arizona Diamondbacks, Zach Greinke taking on Zach Davies. AP, I got to go to you because you were talking about Zach Greinke earlier. So give me some Arizona Diamondbacks bats and anybody on KC you like.
I mean, he's just been like lucky, relying on his defense. He gives up a ton of hits every game. Has yet to get blown, has yet to get absolutely shelled. It's coming. And when it does, it's going to win someone a tournament if it's a low-owned spot. And I'm not showing a lot of ownership on the Diamondbacks tonight. I love them as a full stack. Almost all of these bats, I think, are in play, except for a few at the bottom of the lineup. Varsho, even Pavin Smith, Ketel Marte, David Peralta, all these guys are in play. This is my second favorite stack of the night in tournaments. Where we're looking to get contrarian in a spot that I think is good against Greinke. I think it's phenomenal. No, he's going to be low owned. I mean, maybe he gets a little ownership since he's 4.8. I mean, hopefully he does because I'm going to be stacking against him. Love the D-backs here, and I mean the Royals. MJ Melendez, he's finally hitting the ball a little bit better. Zach Davies isn't a guy that I'm afraid of. It's just the Royals have been pretty bad. But Bobby Witt's been good. Hunter Dozier's actually having an okay season from what I've seen. Melendez finally has hit a couple of home runs and two home runs back to back in a couple games there last week. And then Witt has finally woken up a little bit, but much prefer the D-backs in this spot. And I think it's a good tournament play.
You couldn't talk me into a little. I mean, you like Melendez in the 5 hole. After that, 6, 7, 8, you go 2K flat, Carlos Santana, 2-2 Emmanuel Rivera, and then you get 2-1 Kyle Isbell. Can you talk me into any of that? If you're playing a Wheeler and you're playing Cole, those 3 cheapies, or is it you're burning money on fire if you're doing that? AP.
Carlos Santana as a punt, he's starting to wake up a little bit. The numbers look a little bit better over his last couple games, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, 6.3K combined for those 3 is why I asked. But yeah, I mean, there's better bats. We talked about Gorman on St. Louis. That's someone I'd rather target than these guys. Hoop, go to you. KC, Arizona, what you like for bats?
Yeah, I'm with AP here. I do have some interest in the Diamondbacks. I mean, anytime you get a low strikeout pitcher like Zach Greinke, there's blowouts looming. I mean, there's absolute blowouts coming, and it could be here. I mean, Diamondbacks have a lot of lefties that have power. So I am interested in the Diamondbacks here. The Royals are just a tough team, man. I mean, they haven't done it this year. The Melendez, Santana, Rivera. I mean, it is interesting. If you're playing like Cole and Wheeler, you can fill your catcher position and then get 2 punts. So maybe, a little 3. That'd probably be my favorite way to stack the Royals if you're going to do it. Just get it super cheap, fill catcher, and you get 2 super cheap dudes, and then you can get like a power offense to pair them with. So actually, that would probably be my favorite way to go about stacking the Royals, a little 3-man with those guys. But yeah, I'm gonna have some Diamondbacks tonight. I think they have a chance to put up a big score.
Yep, I like it. And then Steve Anthony did remind me, to your question about has Oakland ever won a slate? Remember, like the maybe the second, third game of the slate or day of baseball where they took on Tampa and they put up like 12 runs in the first inning or something. That is the only time I can. So Steve Anthony, good memory there. That's the only time I remember Oakland, maybe last week for daytime baseball. But yeah, other than that, I think fading Oakland has been a pretty profitable strategy. Let's go into hold on. Sad to see the hate for Greinke. Dude has been the same guy for years, not changing tonight. K Fallon. All right, K Fallon might be on a little Zach Greinke action. I will agree with you, K Fallon.
I think he's in play. I think he's in play for fantasy purposes because he's 4.8K, and if he gets you 10 or 12 fantasy points, you can get by. But I mean, he's not. I mean, I don't think he's the same pitcher.
Oh, then he goes. His last sentence when I stopped, not in play. Not a stack against, though, in my opinion. I will give him credit, though. If he's throwing meatball, I mean, if he's throwing 86, whatever he's throwing right now, and he's still around in the MLB for as long as he has to be doing something right. So, all right, K Fallick. I
think they just don't have a choice because he's got one of those monster contracts. So he's
that could be
go out there and throw pitches.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's got to be a guy in AAA or something that's a little better than him or better arm, but hey, he's still surviving. He's still pitching while I'm sitting here talking about him. So it is what it is. Good for you, Zach Greinke. Next game on the slate, we got the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the San Diego Padres. Adrian Hauser and Nick Martinez on the mound. I don't love playing bats in San Diego too much. Both teams implied for about 4 runs. Hoop, I'll go back to you. What do you like in this game, if anything?
I'll have some of my Brewers. Their lineup just came out. It's their standard lineup. Rowdy Tellez. I can't resist myself some Rowdy, so I'll have some Brewers. This total did come up, a half a run. I mean, nothing crazy, but it came up a little bit. And Nick Martinez isn't all that great, and I think these Brewers guys have the power, to kind of overcome this pitcher ballpark. So some interest in the Brewers. Not going to be on the Padres though.
If you're playing the Brewers, play my boy Tyrone Taylor too. That dude is a complete stud. He's sitting there in the 7 hole. Looks like maybe the 8 hole. Always
Taylor. Let's go.
They got Tellez, Renfroe. You can throw Narvaez at catcher if you want to fill that too. But Taylor there, man, they looked all. I was at the game Friday and yesterday Sunday. They looked awful yesterday against the Nationals. But Tellez, he can still get it done. He hit a bomb on Friday, and Taylor hit one as well. AP got the Brewers. You got the Padres. Anything you like?
Yeah, I like the Brewers when they're at home. Tougher spot here, in San Diego, but definitely, wouldn't talk anyone off of them. I'm not going to be on them today in this matchup, just because other spots I like a little bit better. But Colton Wong, all like Rowdy Tellez, guys that we've all been on that have done well for us. It's just on the road in a worse park. I typically get off those spots, much like you guys do as well. And then the Padres, I don't know. I haven't really been playing them, and it hasn't hurt me one way or the other. So not really a matchup I want to attack too much. Maybe, a couple one-offs here or there, but outside of that, I don't know. I'm pretty fine being off this game.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Alec Caldwell in chat said, if you're playing the Brewers, might as well play unknown Hauser. No question mark. I don't really think so. I mean, Hauser's 8.9K. Like, the Brewers can still put up 7 runs, let's say, and Hauser can still get hit. Maybe this game just goes way over. I get what you're saying, like the little correlation, which I talked about with the Mariners, where they put up runs. Marco Gonzalez gets the win. Marco Gonzalez is 5.4K though. Hauser's 8.9K. So if you like the Brewers bats, I don't think you just auto pair Hauser with that. That's my approach to that. Go ahead.
Real quick, Manny Machado, he's been hitting incredible. So, that would be one guy I'd look at, but I would look to make it to make them a mini stack if you want to go that route. But outside of him and maybe 1 or 2 other bats, it's a tough spot.
Yeah, I'll never say no to Manny Machado. Great hitter for sure. We got 1 game left on the slate. You guys already smashed the like button. If you haven't hit it already, we appreciate it if you do. You guys are getting the plays of the day regardless. And then hit that big red subscribe button while you are at it as well. Last game on the slate, the New York Mets taking on the San Francisco Giants. David Peterson and Alex Cobb on the mound. AP, I'll go back to you. You liked Cobb a little bit. So does that mean no Mets? Talk about the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants have cooled off a bit here. They don't look as good in this matchup, and you got pinch hit risk. So I haven't been playing them as much but some of these guys, against a lefty, Darren Ruff, Austin Slater, or Wilmer Flores, guys that you can look at. I don't think I'm going to get there. And then Alex Cobb, man, I mean, he looks good, and I don't really want to attack him. I mean, I think his worst outing was in Coors Field, so we can overlook that. Ground ball pitcher as well. So, when you add that into everything else that he does, it just doesn't, make it want to be a spot that I want to attack here with the Mets. But the Mets, they have been hitting good. I find myself being off these later games. They're on the West Coast, and I'm usually fine with that. So I'll be off the hitters in this game, and I'm considering Alex Cobb, but he's lower on my list as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I don't have too much interest in hitting. We got Brandon Chad said Ruff has been on fire. Darren Ruff has been one of the hitters that I've actually liked over the past couple of years. I think he is a good hitter. Obviously, the pinch hit risk with the Giants can be annoying. But yeah, I think that comment makes a lot of sense. I like that point. Anything for you in this game for bats, Hoop?
Definitely not interested in the Mets. I'm on Cobb, but yeah, the Giants are just a frustrating team with this pinch hit stuff. I mean, they do it more than anyone else in baseball. It seems like they have so many right-handed bats that are good against lefties, and then they have these left-handed guys that are good against righties, and they're just willing to swap them if it's a close game. So that combined with the fact that they're playing in this tough stadium for hitting, I'm cool just being off of this one.
I like it. I have similar thoughts. That is all 10 games on the slate. Yeah, it's an interesting slate for sure. Pitching isn't great. We know where one clear top pitcher is going to be. If you fade him, you're already different. We know where a couple bat spots going to be. So it's a very interesting slate. Good prize pools, 10-game slate. It's baseball. There could be the Detroit Tigers could be the winner at the end of the day. And I'd be a little surprised, but at the end of the day, you're never shocked when it comes to baseball. So excited for that. Excited to listen to DC and the guys on the premium show, talk pitching, talk hitters. You do have to be a member for that show. We got baseball up to lock. Then JSU and Big T are going to be talking basketball up to lock, 150K up top on DraftKings. So still a lot more content over at Run Pure Sports, but it is premium only for the rest of the night. RPS or not RPS, PGA 50 is the promo code that is still up right now. Again, I don't think it's going to be up very long. Gets you 50% off your first month. And if you do join, make sure you get in the Discord. You will definitely be happy that you did. PGA 50 is the promo code for that. Let's go top three stacks before we get into the plays of the day. AP, I'll go to you. Give me your top three.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dodgers, Astros, and Diamondbacks.
Hoop, I like it, AP. Hoop, you got? Who do you got for me?
I'm going to go Dodgers, Twins, and then I'm going to go Mariners as my contrarian stack tonight.
I like it. Let's get into the plays of the day. You guys got the likes for us. If you didn't hit it, we appreciate it if you do, but you guys smashed it. We always appreciate it. I'm going to start with myself with the SO play of the day. I'm seeing 1%, 2% ownership. The Guardians, man, it feels really weird saying that. I'll still say it. Who will not say it? But the Guardians are standing out to me a little. I want to be contrarian, and Josh Naylor has absolutely been tearing up the baseball. He's very hot. He's got a lot of power. He's in the 5-hole. He's first base and outfield eligible. I don't think people are going to get to him. And going to play Jose Ramirez in that stack too. I'm going to go maybe a 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe skip 4, something like that. But Josh Naylor will be in my Cleveland stacks. He is the SO play of the day. AP, go to you. The gentleman's call of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jose Siri batting 8th, 2.4K in my Astros stack.
I like it. Hoop, it's the rich parents play of the day. Who do you got for us?
It's funny you named Siri's. I literally was just kind of putting a team together and click Siri's name. So that's got to be a good sign. That's got to be a real good sign.
Love it. Yep.
Rich parents play of the day is I'm going with a guy on my Mariner stack. It's going to be Eugenio Suarez batting 5th. You can play him third base. Shortstop on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I believe he is pulling it up. I think he's just third base eligible, but anyhow, it's going to be Suarez as the rich parents play of the day at third base eligible on DK. Real low owned. I can't imagine much ownership on him.
Yeah, I think all three of those plays are going to be low owned. Suarez, Siri, and Naylor, the 3 plays of the day. And you can get them all pretty cheap as well. None of those plays are breaking the bank. So that is all 10 games. It was a fun show. Talk pitchers, talk hitting, talk stacks, plays of the day like always. Appreciate all of you hanging out. It was a very active chat. Again, we appreciate you guys hitting the likes. You guys smashed it for us. Make sure to check the premium show. DC giving his pitch and takes, which everyone likes to hear. Then I forget who else is on that show. Holden, I believe. And then I do not know the other one, so I'm sorry for that. But you'll find out in a couple minutes. And then the Up to Lock NBA show. Big prize pools as always. NBA playoffs, a lot of fun. JSU, Big T, talking some hoops. That's going to do it for us, though. PGA 50 is the promo code if you do want to head over to Run Pure Sports and sign up. We'll see you in the live show chat for the premium show. That's going to do it for us. For Hoop, AP, Simon behind the sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.